Stand on the eastern shores of North America in the year 1491. You won't see a single European sail on the horizon. There are no colonies, no modern nations, and no United States. For centuries, textbooks painted a specific picture of this era. They described a vast, empty wilderness, a massive stretch of nature sprinkled with small nomadic groups. Modern archaeological evidence is now filling the knowledge gap left by those old stories, pulling a very different history out of the earth. Millions of people lived here, inhabiting every corner of the land, from the frozen edges of the Arctic down to the humid coasts of the Gulf of Mexico. These were highly organized societies, speaking hundreds of distinct languages, living in large towns and operating massive trade centers. By 1491, North America was one of the most vibrant and heavily populated continents on Earth. This vast population was organized into hundreds of unique, sovereign nations, each with its own leadership, traditions, and laws. Geography dictated how these nations lived. In the far north, Inuit communities developed specialized tools and heavy fur-lined clothing to survive the brutal, frozen extremes of the Arctic. Thousands of miles south in the arid deserts, Pueblo peoples took a different approach. They engineered immense stone dwellings directly into sheer rock cliffs, establishing permanent, multi-story farming communities in a landscape with almost no water. Over in the eastern woodlands, societies cleared dense forests to construct towns, utilizing the network of rivers and lakes to water crops and transport goods. On the Great Plains, mobile communities structured their entire economy around the predictable, seasonal migrations of massive bison herds. These extreme landscapes forged highly specialized civilizations that were deeply integrated with their local environments. Even without paved roads or centralized empires, these distant nations maintained a massive, continent-spanning economic web. We can track the physical movement of specific raw materials, like copper, which was mined in the Great Lakes region and hammered into intricate plates and tools. Meanwhile, deep in the desert southwest, miners extracted light blue turquoise, trading it upward through neighboring communities. Razor-sharp dark obsidian and specialized stone tools were carefully shaped and passed along trade routes, traveling thousands of kilometers away from the geological sites where they were originally dug up. This animated map shows how those distinct geographical zones interacted. Copper, shells, and stone physically intersected across the plains and rivers, moving from hand to hand over vast distances. Long before the first European merchant arrived, North America was already operating a sophisticated, continent-wide network of trade and innovation. While the Americas flourished, kingdoms across the Atlantic were locked in their own search for global trade routes. This 15th century map shows the European geographic worldview at the time. Rapid advances in navigation and shipbuilding were extending their reach. New hull designs and complex rigging suddenly made dangerous transoceanic voyages possible. The millions of people living and trading in the Americas were unaware of the disruption sailing toward them. Within a single generation, the arrival of these ships would violently reshape the massive continent-spanning networks that had existed for centuries. This collision of worlds marks a massive turning point for the continent, cutting across a deep history that was already in motion. The history of America reaches back thousands of years, peaking in the complex and diverse societies found across the continent in 1491.